Hey everybody, David from Flash by Cycle Nut here. Next project I have for the Zx4rr is I'm going to replace the surprisingly heavy stock steel handlebars with a set of clip-ons from Graves, and then I'm going to replace the ignition switch with the key switch eliminator. The handlebars will give me some adjustability, drop some weight. Same thing with the key switch eliminator, drop a little bit more weight. Going to be a little bit entailed project, but anytime you're installing handlebars, it's not just as straightforward as bolt up. So we'll go over this stuff. As I mentioned, the stock clip-ons are surprisingly heavy. I made the stock ones in at 3 pounds 14 ounces with the bar ends on them, and with the Graves ones I got 1 pound 7 ounces for savings of 2 pounds 7 ounces, almost 2.5 pounds. So to get started, I have the bike on the rear stand, and now I get to support the front off the ground. I have the woodcraft front stand to do that, and this has different pins that you can put in to support it. So underneath, up under there, there's the hole. I had already taken the rubber plug out, and the closest I have is a 27 millimeter. It looks like it's about a 29 millimeter, but I don't think this will move too much. I don't have to do anything too crazy, so I'll give this a try, and I think it will work. So I do have it up off the ground so the wheel can spin. It's pretty stable. If I shake it, it's not coming off, so I feel comfortable working on it like this. So what I'm going to do first is remove all the stock controls on both sides. I am going to remove the upper triple clamp pinch bolt or nut, and then the pinch bolts on both the upper clamp and the stock handlebars so that I can lift all of that off. So I just want to show you how I like to take off the grips on the left hand side, because they can be a little tough. As you notice, I put a towel in front of my display. I've already cracked and replaced my display once and don't want to do it again. So what I generally do for the grip that's glued on is I just stick a small screwdriver in it, and then it makes a space to put the WD-40. I spray some WD-40 down there, and then I'm able to, maybe up there, some WD, and then I'm able to twist it and get it off at that point. So I just about have them off. Did a couple things. So these are actually, the clip-ons are actually attached to the triple tree under here for each of them. And then this gave me a little bit more room with them raised to get to the Allen bolts that actually hold this together. So I'll take them off now. So I have the top triple clamp off, obviously. It's turned over, sitting there. It's still connected to the wiring harness. I'm gonna have to take like the tank and stuff off to get to where that hooks in. And then this is a true fly-by-wire bike, meaning there are no throttle cables coming from this. And this housing, usually there's just a couple like Phillips head screws that hold the housings together. And in this case, we have 4 3 millimeter Allen heads. So I'm gonna take them apart so I can remove that from the stock handlebar, and then those bars will be completely off. So started removing the key lock. What I did is I started with a really small drill bit that I could control a bit better, and just gave myself some pilot holes in the heads of these so that I could use a larger bit and drill them off. So next I'm gonna take a larger bit and hopefully drill these right off, and the key should come out. So I did manage to get the lock off the triple tree. Took a few different drill bit sizes to finally get them off, and then just use a pair of channel locks to remove the studs from that point. I want to get the triple clamp on just to stabilize everything. So, and I got to remember to put the clip-on holders or whatever adapters on there first. So they do have a little R and an L on them, so I'll make sure I put them on the right side, and then just slide the triple tree over there loose, so that I can then remove the wires for the lock. So I've traced the wires back from the key switch. They go up in front of the air box, and actually I had to remove the other kind of upper fairing, and this is the switch that first switch that I'm going to unplug. This is the main key switch, so I'm going to unplug that now. So I got that off, and now I'm going to plug the main the key switch removal harness into that. So I have the woodcraft harness plugged into the main on-off switch, and then I've traced the wire back for the ignition, kill switch, and that's this. So we're just going to unplug that and then put the woodcraft part in through the middle of it. So at this point I have everything plugged in. I just removed my towel, fired up the air compressor, and blew all the little metal chips that were kind of everywhere from drilling out them things. And now you can see my kill switch works my ignition. So key switch is plugged in correctly. I'm gonna leave the tank off and stuff while I work on the rest of the handlebar stuff. So when you order the clip-on adapters from Graves, they tell you to order the short bars, which I come with, which are the same length as the stock bars with the bar end. So this is cool because this means I'll be able to bolt on my little lever guard onto the brake without having to add an extra set of bar ends or anything. So the first thing we want to do is transfer over the index holes that are in the stock bars over to the new bars. As far as rotational place, doesn't matter. How far away from the inside does matter. So that's what I'll use as a reference point. So when installing clip-ons, it's always really important to double, triple check yourself, unless you want to drill a bunch of holes and really get aggravated. So I have the stock bars sitting on the top of the forks just as a reference. The grip's not glued in place. I just slid it over, and you can see it. You know, the bars, if I go like this, the new bars are about the stock, same length, total length. So I'm thinking if I kept the bars where they're out now, they'll be out a little farther, which would give me a little additional leverage, which is always nice. Not that the ZX4 is heavy to steer, but you know, more leverage, more strength makes it easier to turn, less effort. I had no clearance issues with the stock bars, so I can't see any reason why I would have any clearance issues with these bars like that. So next thing, again, like I'm going to transfer over the hole that locates this so it doesn't spin, to locate it, and I'm going to give myself a little bit of lee room, because then I should still have plenty of room to put my clutch lever where I want it and be able to move it back and forth. So I drilled that hole, I put that control on there, and what I'm doing now is I'm just laying the stock bar on. That place where it locked it into place was just about right there. So I'm kind of mimicking the stock angle to start with, and I'm just going to give everything a snug down. And this is just to start. So pinch bolts, we'll tighten them, these pinch bolts, and then we'll be done with the left side for now until we want to get to a final adjustment. So for the right handlebar, the hole that locates the throttle housing is basically straight up and down, and I have the other bar just roughly into position. I got my gal speed on there, and then I'm looking at the throttle, and if I put it about so, that gives me enough clearance on the end that I can install the brake protector. And it also gives me, if I put my handlebar where that'll be, the two brakes, I will be pretty far on the outside for added leverage and strength. So I'm thinking that's all a pretty good location. So I'm going to mark this up, drill it, and put it in place. So that worked out pretty good on this side. I drilled the locating hole for the throttle housing. That is in. Put my gal speed back on. That's all mounted up. Where, like I was talking about, where I'm going to hold the throttle. I'm really, with my 2-finger braking, out towards the end of, give me some more leverage. I have the brake guard on there. The throttle snaps freely. This is where I'm going to start. A lot of times, it's not a one and done thing with the clip-ons, but there's not a ton of adjustment with these. Big advantage. So I ended up, it took off another 13 ounces with removing the key. It was 14 ounces plus the 1 ounce I put back for the thing. And then the handlebars were 2 pounds, 7 ounces that I removed. So about 3 pounds and some change in ounces. So not a huge change. I could probably take a bigger poop in the morning, so not the main reason for doing it. The clip-ons is because it's easiest. If I hope they don't, but if I bend the bike again and I break a clip-on or bend a clip-on, then I just replace these clip-on bars instead of having to replace the whole clip-on. So I don't have to take the whole triple tree and all that apart again to do it. Overall, it's definitely a moderately difficult task. Not something that really everybody would want to do, but for showing off some products and for dropping a little bit more weight high up off on the bike and giving me a little bit more leverage, and then the ability to replace damaged handlebars, I think I'll take it as a small win. So thanks guys for watching. Remember, hit that subscribe button for more motorcycle related content. Next video will be installing woodcraft rear sets on the ZX4rr for some more adjustability and give me some more ground clearance. And thanks guys, take it easy. So I forgot to give a quick demonstration on how this works. So with the kill switch in the up position, everything is off. You move it one position, turns everything on, push it down like normal. Bike starts. Turn it, push it back up, and it shuts everything.